Well, Loggered Brewery back here again. I was going to talk on growing hops this time. This is my third endeavor to try to grow hops. Just an FYI, I live about 30 minutes south of Waco, Texas, and our soil here is really heavy clay. And so, our first two attempts, I grew Cascades and a Williamette. This is the first attempt, and I planted them out under open sun and kind of out of the way, and I really didn't attend to them very well. Needless to say, they died. My next attempt was planted in the same location that we're at right now. I planted Cascade, Williamette, and then I had about 4 or 5 other varieties. And they the first year I planted them, they all came up, did fine. They didn't produce much, but I wasn't expecting much. The next year, I do believe I only got 3 varieties come back. The Cascade every year in this location's done good. But the other 2 varieties that came up with that Cascade at the time, they didn't put out a lot of hops. I maybe got 2 handfuls at the time of hops off that 3rd year. The next year around, I got nothing. And if you know anything about the soil here in Central Texas, it's a heavy clay, and we've had a really, really wet winter. So I'm guessing that my hop rhizomes basically rotted in the ground. So this year I said, all right, I'm going to build a raised bed, and what I have here is just overkill. Nobody needs a raised bed this big. I'll probably plant something, I don't know, maybe some strawberries next to it just for some fun. But I've got, 7 varieties here this time. And this is 20 inches tall, and it's 4 foot wide by 16 foot. About half of it is filled up with mushroom compost. The top half is mushroom compost and dairy lot compost with a little bit of potting soil. Sorry, the battery died. What I was saying, I was talking about the soil amendments I'd made. On this top half, on the bottom section of that, I shook in a bunch of vermiculite, and that's supposed to help hold and retain the water. You're probably asking why I thought water was your issue with your rhizomes rotting. Well, all this compost should not retain water as bad as the clay soil. It should wick away, as much as I can tell. I've got, like I said, 7 different varieties. This was supposedly that American hop they found in the desert Southwest. It doesn't look as healthy as the other ones. I got these from Great Lakes Hops. Normally, every time I've tried this, I've used hop rhizomes, but this time I just tried to go with direct plants. It's a little different. You'd have to go check their website for the exact difference. But they came packaged very well and nice. Packaged in a lot of either rice hulls, I guess is what it was. But they look really healthy. One of these, I think it was the crystal. I didn't find it and left it in the bottom of the box. But another thing I was going to talk on is my hop trellis. So the other thing I was going to talk on was my hop trellis. And as you can see here, I have I guess a piece of 1-inch conduit, and I've got a winch attached to it with a wire that runs through a block up there down to another piece of conduit, and it's tied off into a just an eye. These are all my hooks that I use for my plants. Just one of these quick disconnecting pieces of link and a piece of stainless steel wire. You can probably see that block up there with a guide wire running down there to an anchor. I don't know if we can see the anchor. It's just another quick disconnect with a turnbuckle, and there's the anchor. It's drove into the ground. The other side has the exact same thing. The hardest part that would be to build one of these is I took a 10-foot stick and welded it onto about a 5-foot. So I've got about 3 foot sticking out and about 2 foot buried in the ground. And then I welded the 10-foot to the 5-foot section. So I've got about 12 to 13 foot sticking in the air, which your hops will get that tall, but that's the beauty of the winch. You can let it down and mess with them. I'm hoping this year they all take off and do great. Of course, why would I do this if they weren't? I don't know. Time will tell. I'll try to keep you informed.